working in the ER, while I love it, it is extremely taxing on me. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It like puts me through the ringer a lot. Especially now I'm doing sexual assault nurse examinations.
So you took the SANE course?
Mm-hmm.
Did you take the most recent one?
Yeah, I mean, I finished last May.
Oh, okay.
So
they just had one a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That we could have a whole comment on that.
Yeah.
And the statistics of how many rape tests are not tested at all. Like it's. What
do you mean? So you take this? You get samples and they're not tested?
They just end up on the shelf.
What?
And the whole thing with SANE. So they passed SANE's a specialized nurse who can do this examination, this test. There were hospitals that had no SANE nurses, and they didn't build it into protocols to transport people to these SANE centers. It was a disaster. But like my wife, she's an attorney, and she talks about how like these kits, like they were being done, but no evidence, they can't be admissible as evidence because they weren't collected by a SANE nurse. So it's, I mean, that we could have a whole discussion on that. But
how did they collect? Is there a tedious process to collecting samples, or right? So like, how does someone without that training collect it?
So the way it's been at my facility, so the goal for Illinois is to have every nurse be basically a SANE nurse at some point in the future. We're a long way away from that. But what would happen in my facility if there was no SANE available, it lies to like the most experienced person. So you get a experienced nurse, and basically they just crack open the kit and they have to follow the directions as best they can. Now we have a lot of in case that ever that's very rare in my department. That really doesn't happen anymore because we have on-call providers, and on every shift we have a SANE nurse, at least one, if not multiple. But our SANE coordinator also has a lot of there's an area of the department where there's a lot of resource material. There's like binders that literally can walk you through the process. So if you're unfamiliar, you can get through and do it. But yeah, I mean, what a shame to go through a horrific experience, to go through an invasive examination for nothing to be thrown out legally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, yeah, and I think these are like these things that just the general public doesn't know.
No.
They don't know that. And they probably should, very, very, I guess a very evolving piece of healthcare is just this.
Well, even with that, I wonder if there's anything on the medic's behalf that they could be doing.
Well, there is. I mean, we
like bagging. Like,
well, don't do anything.
Yeah,
one of the things that they say in like the text is like, do not, and this is a quote. Do not let your patient bathe their comb. But that's ridiculous. You can't. You're not saying, hey, you just went through this. Now you're going to listen to me. Oof. You cannot shower. You cannot change your clothes. You cannot. No. You want to give them an informed, and they might not be in the mindset where you can really give them something, a really informed piece of information, and they can make a decision. But you want to tell them, hey, just to let you know, if you wash yourself, if you change your clothes, this might affect our ability to collect that evidence that might be used to prosecute the person that did this to you. But yeah, anything else about SANE you want to ask?
No, that was pretty good. I mean, it was a long training though, right?
Yeah, it's about a 3-4 month process between in person and my didactic training was online. I think there's various combinations where people are doing some stuff online, more stuff in person.
And you feel like that was a good pace? Like you wouldn't do it justice if you tried to shorten that?
No, I think it's good that it's a good length of time. The 41-hour didactic part that I did online had to be completed within 12 weeks from when you start it. Mm-hmm. So it keeps you on a pretty decent pace. Mm-hmm. So you can't like start something and then sleep on it for a year and then finish it, mm-hmm. A year later. What actually took a while was kind of the more practical hands-on experience, mm-hmm. Because you don't always get the opportunity to do certain skills every shift you work. And
you're with a preceptor too?
Yes. So I had to do like pelvic speculum exams. So I would do those with a provider, higher level provider, as kind of my preceptor. And then you do a few sane examinations with a preceptor.
This is so random, but like, when was the last time you impressed yourself?